Maybe. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Pages from Rock Bottom. Tonight, joined with Mr. Brady. I do want to say trigger warning. I'm sorry. I'm a little bit all over the place right now, but trigger warning. We're going to be talking about substance use disorder, active addiction, emotional distress, family impact, recovery experiences. So tread lightly, guys, and listener discretion is advised. I want to give a big shout out to Mr. Brady for a happy birthday. Matt wanted to say happy birthday to you also. And he wanted to say he does apologize because he couldn't be here. He is in Connecticut helping restore power to people that, from the storm. So, Mr. Brady, tell us who you are and where you're from.
All right. My name's Brady. I'm from Athens, Ohio, born and raised. I was born at Oblenus, February 23rd, 1995. So, yes, today is my birthday. I am 31. So I grew up in Albany. It's a little village. Like when I was growing up, probably less than 1,000 people. Now it's probably a little over 1,000 people, I'd say. I don't live there now. I live like on the outskirts in between like Athens, Meggs, and Albany. So I can get to both those places, all three of those places, about 10, 15-ish minutes. I live out in the sticks. I like it. I like living out there. Not a lot of neighbors. It's very peaceful. Find a lot of peace and serenity there. So to qualify myself, let's start with. I spent about 18 years in active addiction. So do the math on that. I'm 31. Spent about 18 years out there running and gunning, doing my will, not what I should have been doing. I'm a 27-time convicted felon that works a state job today. So, I mean, I get the same retirement benefits as like the sheriff's office. It's I mean, whatever pathway to recovery a person finds, it can change your life. I'm just living proof of that. Now I'm in the 12-step fellowships. I'm not going to say which one out of anonymity, and I can't break traditions because there's traditions for a reason. It's to keep the program itself protected, not just me, but it as a whole, and I respect that. But I do work a 12-step fellowship program. I've worked 12 steps. I have a sponsor who has a sponsor who has a sponsor, and I sponsor. And whenever I do have somebody ask me to sponsor them, first thing I ask is, well, are you going to go sponsor someone else if I take you through this work? If they say no, well, I mean, wait till you're willing enough to go do what I do, because I mean, that's all I ask is do what I do. I won't tell anybody to do something that I won't do myself. I'm not going to go say make amends to that person over there. If it's not an amends, I'd go make myself, because it's to injure them or others or yourself. So amends is like the tricky process. The rest of it's pretty simple. Step 1 to 12. It's all just chopping wood and carrying water. You're just carrying a message. You work the steps, and a lot of time after you do them, it's just integrated into your life. Like I wake up and I read some readings that get me to remember, hey, I have this disease that tells me I have a disease that's trying to kill me, but I don't notice it actively because it's not like diabetes or something. I don't have to wake up and, take a medicine for it. Well, I mean, some people they use MATs and whatnot. I don't do none of that. I'm not. I did early on. I used Vivitrol, actually, the shot, and it did help me for like the first. I don't know. I was on it for probably like 16 months, I'd say, and it helped curb the cravings because I'm an opiate addict. Mainly. I mean, I was addicted to everything. It don't matter what you put in front of me. I was on it. And I didn't have a shut off switch. Yeah, I had no shut off switch neither. Like if it was there, And I thought it was just normal. I thought everybody, used something to get through their day. But normal people don't do an 8 ball of, whatever it might have been, cocaine, crack, meth, heroin. Mainly I was like pain pills early on. And then it progressed into, I'd go to rehab, court ordered, which, hey, it helps some people, but if they don't want it and you're court ordering them there, 9 out of 10 times they're probably not going to get recovery. Like the last time I went to treatment, I mean, I was kind of in a bind. Like I was about to get hit with like 3 or 4 indictments that I knew of because they kept then and they had to send everything off to BCI and then you waited to get indicted, right? It was after COVID. So I kept getting stopped because I was doing fentanyl because that was the thing then, and I'd be nodding out in my car all over the place, overdosing, and I'd get caught with dope in my pocket, sometimes good amounts of dope. And they'd send it off to BCI and let me go. I mean, my mom and my aunt had to come get me from a speedway, and I mean, they took like, I don't know, they took a good amount of dope off me. I don't remember how much I had, but it was easily probably a half ounce, if not more. Which I mean, that's not like a ton, but that was a lot. And I was up for days smoking crack and doing fentanyl, and decided I needed to go re-up and get some more. So I went in town and was doing some stuff, and I stopped at Speedway. And I last thing I remember is I hit a crack stem. Actually, it was a push, and I was just out at the gas pump. And the next thing you know, I wake up and there's sheriff there opening my car door, like, everything okay? And I'm like, oh. I woke up pretty quickly, and I was like, yeah, everything's all right. He's like, well, it's not normal to be knotted out at a gas pump. And I'm like, oh, everything's good. I've just been up for days. And he's like, yeah, it's not normal. And started searching. Sure enough, he found the stuff. And, oddly enough, odd or God, I don't know if God was protecting me, but they never indicted me on that one. They indicted me on some other ones that I kept getting caught. That was like smaller amounts. But Athens never did indict me on that. Pray to God that they don't, now that I'm speaking about it. But I think they gave me a little bit of grace because they knew I was down in treatment, and I was down. I went to the counseling center down in Portsmouth, which, good place. I mean, I had all these indictments that were going to come, but I kind of went down there willingly. Like I didn't really see any other option. And it was, fentanyl never hit the scene. I don't know where I would have been, now, because fentanyl is really what kind of pushed me towards getting sober, because it was just like, it was do or die. The drugs changed, and it was either I was going to change or I was going to die. Just plain and simple, because I don't have that shut off switch. Like I'd sit there and I'd do endless amounts of fentanyl, enough that a normal person would probably touch and it'd probably kill them. But me, I had a tolerance. So I mean, I was doing there towards the end. I was doing a ball a day, but then I started running out of money because monkey can't sell bananas. I tried it every which direction. I tried stealing. I've tried selling. I've tried just using. I've tried, switching the drug of choice. Just nothing ever worked, and all the rehabs I went to and all the taxpayers' money that I spent, none of that ever really worked neither. I mean, it pushed me into like knowing about the rooms. But the first time I came in the rooms and read those steps and those traditions off the wall, I'm like, well, shit, I just did all those. Like, and I'd see all these people around happy, joyous, and laughing, and I'm like, there ain't no way. These guys are going and out back and drinking or drugging. I know damn well after they leave this meeting, they're going and doing something. There ain't no way these guys are that happy. Yeah, and then you'd hear all those cliches, it works if you work it, keep coming back. all these different cliches, and I'm like, what the hell is all this happy horse shit? Like,
Yeah.
and it just went through one ear and out the other. You know, God gave us two ears for a reason. We should listen more and talk less.
Yeah.
But doing something like this is to help that person that I used to be. Because I used to be out there. I used to be, and I could be right back out there. This disease is always active.
Yeah.
We have
always.
to stay proactive to keep it at bay, and proactive in whatever way you might find, whether it's through, 12-step fellowship, whether it's through, going to church or whatever your religion preferences are, whether it's through something like this, just doing podcasts and talking about, because it's pretty much the same. It's the one thing that I always find when I talk to most people that are in recovery is they surrendered and knew that self-will availed them nothing. They turned it over to something greater than themselves, whether it be, being a parent or, just God in general. When I say God, higher power, whatever you want to call it, my God is everything. I look at nature and I could see God's handiwork and everything. And, yes, it is my birthday. And, when I was younger, I thought I was just God's gift to everyone. Instead of being God's vessel, I thought I was like a walking, talking gift, and I was the hottest thing around. And as soon as I walked in a room, it was all eyes on me, and it wasn't. I'm not that important. I'm really not. I'm just a person in recovery that can spread a message that help other people. In all reality, there's a million of us out there that carry these books and carry a message and try to jump in that hole with somebody, and they look at us like we're crazy, and we're like, well, shit, my bottom had bottoms, and those bottoms had bottoms. Me personally, my rock bottom, which is a great title for y'all's page, my rock bottom, it got remodeled, and they put an elevator in that sumbitch, and it took me 100 floors down. I didn't realize how many rock bottoms I could actually hit. So jails, institutions, and death. I've been everywhere. I've seen psychiatrists, I've seen drug counselors, I've been to treatment, I've been to jail. I've yet to been to prison. That's one thing I have not been to, which I very well could easily been there. There's things on my inventories and stuff that I can't share because they are incriminating with like a podcast type deal. I can share them with a sponsor, somebody I trust in good faith.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I could share it with the universe or God or whatever you might want to call it. I incorporate like my God with water because it's a force greater than myself, and I'm a Pisces, so it just kind of goes hand in hand. And whenever you hear about like us going to outer space, that's what they're looking for on plants is water, because nothing could survive without it. We kind of stem from water. We require water to live, and every organism I know on this planet needs water to live. So I just kind of incorporate my higher power with that. But it was complete insanity. And insanity to me is I knew what the results were going to be every single time. I was going to hurt people. I was going to hurt myself. Might die. Who knows? Because I don't know what I'm buying. There ain't a doctor on the street. I don't know what the hell they're giving me, And when I went to treatment, I tested positive for all kinds of different things because there's just all kinds of different things in the drugs I was doing. It was different when I was doing pain pills, but even then, nowadays, all the pain pills are pressed, so people are taking a gamble with that.
Yeah.
I had a buddy that was sober for a while, and he decided to get these pain pills, and he overdosed and died because his tolerance was down. He thought it was a Roxy 30. It wasn't a Roxy 30. It was fentanyl, and it killed him.
Yeah.
And that's the reality of it. Hell, one of the guys that was one of my roommates when I was at the counseling center, I got him a job at Penn Station when I got out because I went sober living. I stayed around the Portsmouth area for a while, and he ended up overdosing and dying. And there's a guy in my house. He went to a hotel, and him and another guy were found dead. I mean, it continually happened, and it's sad reality of this disease. Once you dry out for a while, if you don't add a solution of some sort into your life, the only thing we know is to drink or drug when things get a little difficult. That's our go-to. So I had to add something into my life, and the it was all willingness, honesty, and open-mindedness that really got me there. I had to be willing enough to listen to other people. I had to be honest about who I was as a person, and be honest to my innermost self that, hey, I'm an addict, alcoholic, whatever you want to call me. It don't matter. I identify as anything that has an A, because let's be real. I mean, I'm a real one. I can become addicted to absolutely anything. It could be technology, it could be sex, it could be gambling, it could be anything. Scrolling too much on Facebook. It don't matter. Anything that takes me out of me, out of the right here, the right now. And the right here, right now is where I find God. Honestly, like staying present is when I find God. I prayed before I got on here, for God to allow me to be a vessel to touch anybody that might be listening, that might be struggling, that might just need to hear something today, that might be sober, but still struggling. Because I mean, just because I got sober doesn't mean struggles don't occur. I've lost early on in this recovery run. I lost my uncle, my grandpa, and my grandma, and it was all pretty close together, and I didn't have to drink or drug over it. And I got to be there. I got to show up. Now, my uncle, I was still down in Portsmouth. I didn't get to show up physically, but I was there, emotionally. I could talk to my aunt. I could talk to my dad. I could talk to my mom. I could talk to family members, and be supportive, and, be somebody that could emotionally be supportive to the ones around me. My grandpa, I actually got to be there when he was passing, and it's one of those like walking amends, pretty much living amends that I get to make, because he knew I was sober and he knew it was okay. He knew we were going to be okay, because I have family members too, and I have one family member that was murdered as a result of this disease. Let's just say that it wasn't a direct result, but he just decided to make some choices that ultimately people end up retaliating against him. And I don't think they might have meant to kill him, but he ended up dying as a result of it. And it could have easily been me, because I did probably way worse stuff than him. I don't know 100% everything that he did, because he walked his own path of addiction. He was kind of addicted to other things other than what I was mainly addicted to and what I chased, which to each their own. Everybody's addicted to whatever. It don't matter to me. All of it's the same. A drug is a drug is a drug is a drug. Now, some drugs kill you faster than others. Yes. I mean, some are way more deadly, and some cause way more worse damage. And I'd say meth and fentanyl is probably the two most damaging ones that are pretty quick to damage you. Because I mean, unless you take a bunch of acid and then you never come back from the trip, then that's one thing. Because I've met some people that took way too much acid, and I did a bunch of hallucinogens. I tried everything. It was just one of those.
It wasn't.
Nah, it can really mess you up too. It's a crazy game that we all played. It was Russian roulette every single time. We didn't know what was in that chamber, what we were going to get. I mean, we thought we knew. And I don't think it was ever really fun. To be honest with you, if I'm real about it, it was
No.
just to get me out of me, because I didn't know how to deal with myself. To be totally honest, I didn't know how to live inside my own head, and I still don't. Some days, it's hard to quiet that.
Yeah. What do you do today to quiet that?
Well, nowadays I just pick up the phone and I work with somebody, or I just talk to somebody. That's what I found is the best solution to my problems. And luckily, I'm in a relationship with another person that's in recovery also. So,
Yeah.
and I mean, there's cons and there's pros to that, because I mean we have to 10 step each other a lot, because I still say and do things that
Yeah.
get me in trouble. And most of the time it's unintentional.
Yeah.
Because my brain's still a
Annoying.
cluster at 3 years sober. Oh yeah, I guess I should have said that too. My sobriety date is February 13th of 2023. So we
Yeah.
just celebrated 3 years a couple Fridays ago.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Which,
Congratulations on that. That's, 3 years is it's a big accomplishment. You know what I mean? Most people don't make it to that. And you should be very, very proud of like those 3 years that you're sitting here and even coming out of like, still healing. You're here to tell us about it, right? Like most people don't get that. So
yep,
congratulations. Good for
a
you.
lot of people
Proud of
don't.
you.
A lot of people don't. And I appreciate it. But I mean, it was really none of my own doing. It was a bunch of people in the program that just showed me the directions, a
Believed in
design
you,
for
you didn't
living.
believe in yourself.
Huh?
I said believed in you when you didn't believe in yourself. You said it was a bunch of people in the program. I said believed in you when you didn't believe in
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they loved me unconditionally. They showed me what love was. They were an
Yeah.
adequate representation of the program that I'm in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I go to all kinds of meetings. It's I work one program, and I believe in that, and I'm a hard, firm believer. You just pick one program and work it to the best of the ability that you have, which best ability of mine is just follow the simple, clear cut
Yeah.
directions, and then go and do that with other people. But I gotta
Yeah.
continually, like yearly, do my own thing too, because just because I work with others, I still gotta take a look at myself. And that's
Yeah.
usually the hardest
Absolutely.
thing that most people have, is like
Yeah.
really intimately taking a look at themselves in those dark
It's
crannies of
hard
our
to look at
minds.
yourself.
And
It's
yeah, I
hard to look at
mean,
yourself and see all the wrongdoings that you can say, oh man, I was probably wrong in that. Like that was probably one of the hardest things for me at the very beginning of recovery, is being like, okay, owning my part in shit, right? Um,
yeah,
I looked at myself one day and was like, man, everything that's going on around you, as as you're sitting still and the world's just moving without you, is your fault. Like your fault. Like own
yeah,
your shit in. Like it's not everybody else's fault. It's Kim's fault. You're the problem, right? That's probably the
yeah.
hardest things for me. But when I realized that and I started taking accountability for all my actions, everything's just started seeming different for me. So I get that.
Yeah, it gets easier, I mean, because today I could see how I play a part in every single thing. You
Yeah.
know, all the resentments, all the fear, all. Well, I mean, I had sex problems, all kind. You name it, you name it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the as I went through the steps and I continue to do so, the more I can see. But the main thing is that same sex sound ideal that, you know, both all the fellowships really work on. I would have sold myself short if I would have got what I wrote down, because today me and Stephanie's relationship is absolutely, you can't explain it. You really can't explain it. You can't put it in good words because it's just astronomical, the type of relationship that we have, where we can sit down, we can be honest with each other, we can admit when we're wrong. I mean, majority of relationships that I've ever been in and I've seen around me, most people can't do that. Most people don't want to admit when they make a mistake, whether it just be saying the wrong thing or even the other person just misinterpreting, because that happens a lot. Communication's kind of tricky.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
communication is the gateway and the bridgeway to wellness. You take out I had a guy that I work with. He spoke at a meeting the other night for his first time, and he said, which I think I've heard it before, but he said if you take out the I and illness and you add we, it's wellness. And when you early on when people come into like 12-step fellowships, they hear that's a we program. It really is. We're all interconnected, and that's everybody in recovery. Because I mean, I got friends that do faith based, and they're more into like faith based type recovery, and I got friends that you know think the marijuana maintenance program works for them. And if it does, it does. If it don't give you the results of going to jail, hurting your family members, causing chaos all over the place, and I mean, teach their own. Teach their own.
Yeah.
Who am I to say that's not recovery? That's not my recovery, but I can't say that for that person. And there's a lot of people that do that today because let's face it, marijuana is legalized now, and people use that as like an MAT type deal. And some people need it. Some people just use it because it keeps them off the other stuff. Me personally, I mean, that just kind of opens up that thing in my brain that starts chattering. Yeah, it says, that says, yeah, makes a drink look good, or makes the idea of well maybe I should just smoke a little bit of crack or something, which there ain't no little bit of crack. Although I mean, one of the last times that I did relapse, it was on that, and it was like $30 worth. I didn't want anymore. That's the amazing thing that the 12 steps did. Yeah, I made that mistake because I went to a Super Bowl party and I thought everything was going to be fine. Everything. I'm good. I'm recovered. I'm doing this 12-step thing, and I'll be fine. And well, I put myself in a situation where it got put in front of me, and it was not fine. I made a decision that was bad, but I didn't want it anymore because for whatever reason, I didn't want to feel that way anymore. And, all the times that I went out there and I did that craziness, I was trying to fill a hole that was unfillable. And now I feel it with spirituality, working with others, caring about others. That's why I did this. I think you guys gave me like 3 dates, and I seen one of them was exactly on my birthday. And I'm like, well, what better thing can I do on my birthday than go be of service and and share myself and share that recovery is possible. It's absolutely 100% possible for any individual. Doesn't matter creed, religion, color, race, doesn't matter. I hear all kinds of people from different walks of life, and I can identify with each and every one of them, in their stories somewhere along that way. Their story kind of can match mine. And that's the key thing, is being able to identify with other people and be like, yeah, me too. Because there's a lot of me too's in recovery. But there's a lot of yets too. I hear people sometimes, I'm like, well, I haven't done that one. But it could be a yet, if I don't stay on top of my own recovery, because I got to participate in my recovery. And it's not just somebody comes along and they're like, up here, and then you don't have to do anything anymore. You can sit home, watch TV, and scroll on Facebook and eat food and not do anything. There's things that I have to do. I want to got to where I am now without working for it. And so one thing I always witness with a lot of people is they want that car back, that job back, the girl, and they want all these things quickly. Well, I've watched people get them back quick, and they're usually the quick ones that end up back out there. Time takes time, especially in this type of process. Like healing takes a long time. Because there's places I go all the time that I've run into somebody and I'm like, oh shit, I owe them amends. And they're not on my amends list. Yeah, Walmart, usually the store, gas station, somewhere. And I'm like, shit, I forgot. I did harm to that person. And I love the title of this because I actually got a coin from my fiance. On the back of it says the ripple effect for our 3 years. And I bring up the ripple effect a lot just because my sponsorship family, and it's a true statement. So let's look at the ripple effect as an addiction. So you throw a rock in a pond, right, and it ripples out. Well, that's all the negative, that's all the harm, that's all the things that we cause. And when I work with other people, some of them, they're like, well, I was never a thief, I never stole anything. Well, okay, let's hold up right there. Let's take a look at this. So you never stole anybody's peace. You never stole your parents' peace of mind, their security, their sanity. Did they not lose sleep over wondering if you were going to live or you were going to die? Don't matter what your drug of choice was. Could have been drinking, could have been just smoking weed. They're always going to worry when you're dipping and dabbling with something like that. And I did the same with my parents. Like I literally watched them age in the matter of a couple of years, like because they were worried about me. They were losing sleep over me. And so flip side, let's look at that when you get into recovery. Same aspect, but we're rippling out and we're affecting all these things in a positive manner, a more healing and more like we're showing others, we're teaching others. And it's a program of action, right? I have to be an example. It's not just what I can say in a meeting or in a lead for an hour. What am I doing the other 23 hours of the day? Am I doing this in my home's occupations affairs? Am I being a representation to my children of, like, am I going home and kicking the dog and slapping the wife and, cussing the kids out? Because that to me, that is not 12-step fellowship, anything. That's not recovery to me. If you aren't addressing underlying issues, then you're kind of sleeping on recovery. Like there's a lot of underlying issues that I have, and a lot of them come from all of the drugs and all the alcohol and all the things that I did, like anxiety, depression, a lot of those things compounded because of the choices that I used to make. And now I just kind of treat them holistically. Like I tried depression medication because I do have depression, and I've tried different ones, and I just none of them ever. I've always felt weird, so I just kind of deal with it now. And now what I find is I just pick up the phone, I go work with somebody when I kind of feel like I'm getting in that rut, when I'm start getting that. Because really depression's like selfish, self-centered. Like I'm focused on woe is me, and it's not woe is me today. It's what can I do to be of service to the people about me. I'll leave the toilet paper or the paper towels down here when I clean the bathrooms because I'm a custodian at a university here in Athens, and I do it. And when I go to Walmart and stuff, like if I go in and wash my hands or whatnot, I leave the towel down for the next person that comes through. It makes it easier. If I see carts out of place, I push them back, I put them away, because somebody's got to do that job. And this this whole program's attraction, not promotion. I'm not here to promote it. I'm here to be an example to other people that might be suffering from this thing. And they'll be like, man,
Yeah.
he really changed his life. Like he's a totally different person. Well, I want that too,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And that's what
What
drove,
was
that's
your,
what,
sorry, go ahead.
no, you're good. You're good. Go ahead and ask.
I was gonna ask you what your life was like before addiction. Like what was your life like growing up?
My life was good. My parents were good. They're not addicts or alcoholics, you know. Uh, my parents are both still alive. My dad's retired. My mom works at Oblenis now, the place I was born. She's a custodian over there. Um, they're good. They worked, you know, middle class. We weren't rich, but we weren't poor. You know, made the best that we could do as a family, but that also left me kind of available to the streets because they worked. You know what I mean? I didn't have a babysitter,
Yeah.
so I was able to run and gun at a young age. And it's no
Yeah.
fault of theirs, you know, because there ain't no guidebook being a parent. Trust me, I have
No,
a kid.
absolutely not.
I got an 18-year-old today that, you know, came to us a while back and then said, you know, he's tried drinking, he's tried edibles, he's
Yeah.
smoked dab pens, and, you know, all we can do is sit there and just let him share openly and try not to
Yeah.
make it into like an argument or which I mean granted it kind of started getting that way more so with Steph than myself because she's like, oh, you're an addict. I'm like, you can't do that, okay? We're not here to do that. We're not here
Yeah.
to call him an addict
But
or yes, he is prone. I made that clear. Me and her
yeah,
both did. We're like, look, you're prone to having addiction
absolutely.
problems
Absolutely. I have
because
that same fear with mine too. Like, you know, are all of them or one of them at least going to be, is there going to be one that was just like me? Like, are they going to be an addict? Are they going to try the drugs? Are they, you know what I mean? And I said this on Raw and Real Friday, like, we just have to be there and be present and, you know, be that example for them and show them, like, and explain to them, like, this is probably not, you know, what you should be doing, but also, like, supporting them no matter what. So,
yeah, and that's what
not
we
enabling.
did.
Not enabling.
No,
I
we
don't
don't
want to get,
enable.
you know, I was
We
talking about me,
don't.
like, I don't want to enable.
Yeah, and I made that clear with him. I'm
Yeah,
like, just don't bring it to our house and don't do it here
yeah,
because he lives with us, him and his girlfriend, which you know she's prone to it too. She's got family members that do suffer from alcoholism and addiction also, and it
yeah.
can skip generations and it can get
Oh,
them, you
absolutely.
know. But our job is to keep the doors open at the programs that we practice, right? That's our job as parents, as people that are in the program, is to keep it open for the next generation. Because you know, there's going to be generations that come after us. We just got to be representations, and we got to make sure they stay alive. We don't kill ourselves, you know, because I mean,
Yeah,
there's been programs out there that definitely did not exist very long that were trying to do the same thing. They were trying to quit drinking, quit drugging, all that stuff, and they're no longer around. You know, nowadays the programs that exist today have been around for a good amount of time, and they've
oh,
been working for millions and millions of people all over the world. You know, we're worldwide. You know, there's literature in like 7 or 8 different languages out there now. That's
yeah,
all based off, you know, people that wrote it back in the 30s and 40s, you know. And it's been working till this day, and it works in my life. It's worked in a lot of people around me, you know, but there's still people I know that are still out there. Will they ever
yeah.
get sober?
Yes,
Will they ever find a different way of life? I don't know. I'm not there to
yeah,
decide that. I just, you know, I'm keep them on my Facebook or whatever to be an example, because most of them I don't see. Sometimes I'll run into one at like a gas station or Walmart or whatever, and if I know they ain't living right, I might say hi to them, but I ain't gonna sit there and hold a conversation with them, because I mean, energy is contagious. You know, that stuff can rub off on me, and next thing you know, I'm jonesing to go do something I shouldn't be doing. So I just kind of steer clear of it. Now,
Yeah.
it's a little different when I see like the new person walk into the rooms of whatever meeting I'm sitting in, and they might be detoxing, they're sitting there shaking. That just reminds me, that's not what I want. Because no
Yeah.
matter what, you can take that high, but there's always going to be that low. It's temporary. It's a temporary solution for a long term problem.
Yeah.
No matter what
Sure.
the drink, drug, substance is, it's short lived. It does not last long. And ultimately, it causes misery. That's all it does. It's going to destroy and burn everything around you.
Yeah.
And I just don't want to do
Without
that
fear.
today.
Yeah, same.
Today,
Same.
I'm blessed with my parents can sleep fine at night. They don't have to worry about me.
Yeah.
I mean, I might worry about them because my dad's a little old school, and he don't
Yeah.
have a cell phone, and he likes to spend all his time going out in the woods. And I mean, granted, it's southeastern Ohio, but he's really into scouting cameras, and he's caught bears on those scouting cameras. He's
Yeah.
got bobcats on those scouting cameras, and you just never know. Or he could fall and hurt himself and not be able to get up. He don't got a cell phone. And, I mean, he lives in kind of rural area anyways. He probably won't get service in most of the places that he goes. So today I worry more about my own parents than they have to
Then they do
worry about
you.
me.
So,
Yeah, because
but when did
they
you?
know I'm okay.
Yeah, absolutely. But when did you realize that like the ripple effect your addiction was having on your family? When did you realize that you were affecting them?
I mean, within like I'd say the last year, 2020, 2020 into 2021. That was when I was really, because I had spurts of like drying out. I wasn't really going to meetings or anything, which I walked into meetings back when I was like 16, in and out, in and out. And I got in trouble in 2020, I think it was. And I went to jail. I went to Star, which is, I mean, I think there's one down in Franklin Furnace. They're kind of
There,
around your
I
all's
completed it.
area.
Yep.
But yeah, don't recommend it. Like one out of 10 recommend. Like it was, I guess not 1 out of 10. Let's say like a 4 out of 10. Like it did
Yeah.
help with like some of my thinking behaviors, but for like the substance use portion of it, did not help whatsoever. Like was not beneficial at all. But for the thinking purposes, like Epictetus and learning
Yeah.
some of that stuff, that was helpful.
Behavioral
You
modification.
know,
Yep.
yeah, that was helpful in some forms and fashions. It did change me a little bit, but did not keep me sober. I got out, and pandemic. I worked like a little bit before the pandemic, so I was able to get unemployment, and I just used that unemployment money, and I was off to the races, running and gunning. For a while until like 20, it's either end of 2020 or 2021. That's when I finally went to the counseling center. And that's right around when I started really seeing the effects I was having on not just my parents, but all my
Your
family
family.
around me.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
all worried about
Absolutely.
me. Hell, I was worried about myself because fentanyl wasn't no joke. I mean,
It was
I
no.
overdosed so many times, so many. I can't even tell you how many times that I
Yeah.
overdosed and had to be Narcan. Because I was the type of addict that I'd carry Narcan around with me and a bag of dope, thinking I could
Yeah.
Narcan myself, and it's
So
just
yeah.
it's unrealistic thinking because you just kind of go out and then you're breathing shallows out and you're just dead pretty
Yeah.
much. I mean, so, but I always kept Narcan around because, I mean, fentanyl is just a totally different beast. It really is. You
It is.
know, if
It is.
if it wasn't for fentanyl, I don't know if I ever would have got sober. Because, I mean, I didn't really overdose a whole awful lot off heroin. You know, maybe a couple times, but not a whole awful lot because it's just not
It's
as.
definitely way different. You could do it 5 times
Yeah,
and
it's
try it
not.
every time. Every time.
Yeah, it's not as potent. You know what I mean? Granted, sometimes you will get some real potent stuff, especially back when like China White was like actually
Yeah.
good stuff. But
Yeah.
nowadays it's all fentanyl, you know, and almost everything. That's why I'm kind of glad they did legalize marijuana because I mean, there's people that bought weed and had fentanyl in it and they died from smoking weed, you know, and that's crazy to me. Now they can at least, you know, go to dispensaries and stuff, and that's fine. That's if that's what helps them. I have no monopoly on this thing. Like I'm not God, and that was the main thing that I had to figure out. It's like, hey, I've tried running my life all this time. Let's ask this guy to sponsor me and have him run my life for me for a little while and continue to run things by him. Like now I'm like a little bit more stable, but I continue to run my grand ideas because I still get some grand ideas. So like, oh well, let's take out this big loan and let's move and get this, you know, nice house or whatever. And like, maybe not right now, financially wise. Let's probably not. Yeah, let's not get in a lot of debt. You know, especially when we're fine where we're at. You know, everything that we have right now, we own, and we live on, you know, Stephanie's dad's land. So I mean, we don't gotta pay land taxes. You know, which we should probably contribute to that. That's because we working on his program, right? So I mean, that's one thing we might need to look into. Is like, hey, how much is land taxes? Let's contribute into doing that because that's just the right.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's the right thing to do. But he don't ask us to do that. But that's just the program of action that can show him like, hey, I mean, these guys are doing good, they're doing right, and I mean he sees it. You know what I mean? Because he didn't have to take me in. He didn't have to allow me to live on that property. And me and him get along good. You know, me and him have a good relationship. My mom got remarried. Me and my stepdad have a good relationship. Hell, I know some of his kids. I sold drugs to some of his kids. You know, it touches everybody. You know, it touches all families, and
It does.
it's nice to be on the flip side of it. You know, even if you know, even if families still haven't got their kids back, they can see other kids, you know, reunite with their families and be like, well, maybe I could point my kids in that direction. You know, that's why I continue to do what I do because, you know, I mean, they ain't going to accept my hand until they're willing, though. You know, they're not going to accept the help until they're willing. And hopefully they get willing before they ultimately, you know, it's jails, institutions, and death's usually the one that happens. Sadly, you know, sometimes they'll go to jail and prison, and it'll help them. But I mean, there's just as much drugs in jails and prison nowadays than there is out on the streets. But there's also prisons that allow, you know, programs to come in, 12-step fellowships that, you know, people can come to and look forward to while they're in institutions like that also. You know, I used to go and speak at, it was like a 30-day treatment facility, which my sponsor actually went and spoke there one time, and somebody stole his car while he was there, and yeah, that was pretty crazy.
I remember the story. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember him calling me. I'm like, I'll drive up there and I'll get you, buddy. I was at work. I'm like, look, I'm come get you. And he's like, no, I think they gave him a ride back or something like that. And they ended up finding the car a while later, and I'm not sure what happened to the person that stole it. I'm not exactly sure. I think he told me, but I don't remember because my brain's still like
Yeah.
not great. Like
Yeah.
I can remember some things, but I'm not great with most things. Really crappy with birthdays and sobriety dates for most people. Like some people, I'll remember their sobriety dates, but a lot of the time I forget. Like usually
You
somebody
remember your
messes
own. That's
me.
important.
Yeah, so I can remember my own
Right.
because I remember the last time I used. And that's
Right.
how I remember my own. And most time they say if you can't remember your last one, there's probably going to be another one. I remember my last one.
Yeah.
And
What was
honestly, my
different
last
for you?
one, huh?
What was different for you this last time when you got sober this last time? What was different that made you want to stay sober?
Well, I mean, I was already actively working 12 steps, and it just wasn't the same. That desire to go and get more afterwards, well, it just wasn't there. Like, I just didn't want it. I didn't want it. I didn't like how it made me feel. I didn't like what it turns me into because it turns me into a completely different person. Like I'm not the same person
Yeah.
using as I am sober.
Me
I'm a
neither.
hell of a lot. I'm a hell of a lot better person sober than on
Same.
my
Same.
best day of using.
Yeah.
I'll take this any day over, my best day of
Yeah.
using because there wasn't no best days of using. It was always, even if I had some, I'm like, well, how am I going to get more? I'm going to need more because this is going to run out. And it's just a hamster wheel of always, now I just come to work and do my job and go home. Which before, for like first 3-ish years of this recovery run, which I wasn't sober that whole time. Obviously, there was a relapse in between there. Well, lapse,
Yeah.
where you want to call it. It was like a day's worth of making a poor decision. But I was a kitchen manager at a bar and grill here in Athens. It was called Soul, which it's no longer there. It's something else. But I worked my way up from there. I started out as just a cook, and I was a kitchen manager there for probably the last year and a half or so working there. I The owner was cool, let me have meetings there on Monday mornings. I think it was. I did meetings there for a while. Let people come and have meetings before we opened, and and then I got this job offer. And the funny thing about before, so that last relapse, I was about to be sentenced to Meigs County on some old charges, right? Like three
Yeah.
days later, and I had that relapse, and they're thinking about sending me to prison for like 6 months. And I pretty much gave them my lead in court, like to the judge, and she's like, "Well, we'll just give you probation." And they put me on probation. And that same judge and that same probation officer asked me to run a meeting for them down there in Meigs County. And I did for a good little while until I got this job and my shifts changed. And I
Yeah.
just couldn't do it anymore. Right. So somebody else took it over. But, you know, that's the small things, small gifts that you get. One never thought in a million years a probation officer and a judge would ask me to do something of that. And come down there when I spoke at a recovery event. I think the name of it's like Lost Voices or something like that there in Meigs County. I went and spoke at a recovery event. And that same judge that sentenced me in court was there because she's involved in like the recovery community aspect of that's going on down there. And like never in my wildest dreams will I ever thought something like that could happen for a person like me. Because I mean, I was a low bottom drug user, drunk, all the above. Like I didn't care about anybody, anything. Didn't even care if I
Same.
lived or I died. You
Same.
know, which I think that's reality for most people. Like
Yeah.
after so long, they're just like, oh, well, hopefully this next drink or this drug will take me out because they're just so miserable. Like, and we got to look at an aspect of, so let's look at as alcohol. Now, what's some liquor stores called? Spirit shops, right? So, what's that tell us? Why is gin called gin? You know, that's a spirit. Like, so it's robbing us of spirituality, and we then just take that aspect and move into drugs also. Like, it just robs you of your spirituality. Like, usually that's the first thing that goes. When somebody goes back out, they lose that spiritual connection of whatever it might have been, whether it was, you know, religion, God, higher power, whatever you want to call it. And then they start losing the emotional, physical, you know, mental sobriety, because there's different aspects to sobriety. It's not just, oh, I'm physically sober. Like, well, I mean, you can be physically sober and still an emotional train wreck and a spiritual train wreck, and, you know, causing a bunch of harm and being a tornado ripping through people's lives without a drink or a drug, you know. And I still can be too if I don't treat my disease actively, which, I mean, there's days where I get, you know, some people call it restless, irritable, discontent. Some people call it itchy, bitchy, and twitchy. To me, it's all the same. You know, it's me not actively working some kind of program, whatever that might be for somebody. For me, it's the steps, it's the traditions, it's the concepts, it's working with other individuals that suffer from addiction issues, whether it be alcohol, whether it be drugs. It don't matter to me. All of it's the same. You change the cheese to the mouse is still going to come to that cheese. You know, to me, it don't matter. And that's a big, you know, war between AA and NA and CA and this thing and that thing. You know, there's always, and it was kind of big down there when I was in Portsmouth. Like, it was like a clash in between, you know, AA and NA, and teach your own. You know, it don't matter to me. It's all 12-step fellowship, and it's all very similar. You know, they all kind of branch off one another. So to me, it didn't really matter. I went to all and any meetings down there. I went to meetings in Waverly. I've been to meetings all over the place, you know. And nowadays, Zoom's a thing. You know, I use Zoom, which is this kind of new. You know, I've never used StreamYard, but I am very adequate. I know Zoom very well. I use Zoom a lot because I do a lot of Zoom meetings just because of my work schedule. You know, and that's a beautiful thing. Some people don't like Zoom. Some people are like, oh, there's no recovery in Zoom. Well, I mean, if you think that, then you're going to believe that, you know, and then it's just going to be reality, because what we think ends up being reality. I can find fellowship and I can find love and unity in Zoom meetings. Like, it doesn't matter to me. And I get to meet a lot of people that way too. And then I get to meet them outside those squares and events and stuff I go to, because I go to a hog roast every year for the fellowship I'm in. I get to go to 12-step spiritual retreats, which I went to my first one like 3 weeks ago. Had a really good time. It was an awesome time. It was a men's retreat, just a bunch of good guys from our fellowship, just sitting around, pretty much talking about our experience with whatever step we were assigned or tradition. I mean, we did a little bit of both. You know, and it was just a good time. It was just good fellowship, bunch of camaraderie, and just getting along and telling stories and laughing. And you know, that's the small gifts of this thing. Like, I get things money can't buy, right? By doing what I do, I get peace, serenity. Um, I don't. My mind's not as crazy. It's not as hazy as anymore. I get love, companionship, fellowship. I get to be a son, a brother. You know, and I got brothers that aren't blood, and I got brothers that are blood. You know, I get to be an uncle. I get to be a dad. Well, stepdad, dad, whatever you want to call me, because technically they're not No, no, they are not my flesh and blood, but they are my kids. Because our youngest boy, his dad died kind of indirectly as a result of this disease. And our oldest boy, his dad's doing whatever his dad does. I don't know. I can't say 100%. Well, I don't know his dad that well, but I know he's one of us, and he probably ain't living the way that we're living. Which teach their own. That's on him. We hardly ever see him. Our oldest boy, he don't really call him dad. He pretty much calls me dad, but I don't ask him to do no such thing because his dad is out there somewhere. But he don't have anything to do with him, and he ain't no role model. I'm open and honest with him. Not so much our youngest one yet, because I mean he don't need to know all the craziness that I used to do. But I'm open and honest with him because then I get to the results of the insanity that I used to do, because it wasn't all. And he usually laughs. He finds it funny because he finds it funny that I was on the front page of the Athens Messenger for breaking in places and shit. You know what I mean? He's like, yeah, you ain't the same guy that you used to be, And I mean, I'm not a criminal today. I'm actually a productive member of society. I pay taxes. I pay bills, which I didn't know how to do. It's funny the little things that we learn. Now I worry about my credit score. I don't worry about that next fix.
We don't even talk about credit score. Right? I don't understand credit score. Listen,
my credit's actually not bad. My credit's not bad. I don't know about yours. I don't know how my credit's not bad.
Yeah, listen. I'm trying to fix it. You know what I mean? But I feel like the more that we pay stuff off, like Matt's credit will go up and mine keeps going down. Does that make sense? Like I'll pay something off, something of mine will be paid off, and then my score will plummet.
Nah, I don't know how credit works. I'm new to the whole credit thing.
Yeah.
I just started kind of paying attention to it in I don't know, probably the past 6 months, because I didn't even think I had a credit score. Somebody mentioned Credit Karma from the fellowship, and I'm like, well, hell, I'll take a look and see. And sure enough, my credit was I think it was high 300 or no. I'm completely wrong. Okay, it was high 600. Okay, now it's like 710, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I don't understand how, because that's actually pretty decent. That's not bad. That's not bad credit at all, especially for some low life guy like myself.
You're paying attention to your credit. You know what I mean? You could be.
Well, I paid my stuff today. I paid off all my court fines, which I'm still technically on probation here in Athens County, which how I get a state job is beyond me. But they gave me it, and they haven't said you can't clock in today. They allow me to clock in, and they allow me to have a set of keys that lets me in every single door in this building, the people's offices, the storage spaces. There's a bunch of technology equipment here. They trust me. And my parents trust me. My grandparents trust me. I can walk in their house and they don't have to be sitting there watching me like a hawk today. Those are just little tiny things. I can gain material things back and all these other things, but I can't replace these memories. That's the only thing I'm gonna take with me when I die, and that's the only thing I can leave too, as memories to people around me, and how I treated them, and how I was as a person. It's not just all about Brady today. and I don't work Brady Anonymous. I used to try that. It didn't work out too
It
well.
doesn't work, does it?
It
No,
don't. It don't.
it
Self
does
will
not.
availed me
Yeah.
nothing. I mean, I can use my will accordingly, but it also has to be with my higher powers will at the same time. Like it's got to be
Yeah.
right together. Like I can, because I mean, God gave us free will for a
Yeah.
reason,
Right.
and he wants us to use it. Like doing something like this, it was free will. Like because I usually do a Zoom meeting in the fellowship that I'm in on Monday nights, but I'm here with you guys because I just prayed and meditated upon it, and I was like, yeah, yeah, and I just listened, and God's like, yeah, do it. It's something different, and that's the one
Yeah.
thing that was told to me early on in recovery. If you're comfortable in recovery, you're probably not doing recovery right because you got to do some
Yeah.
uncomfortable things. You got to take some risks. You got to take some chances. You got to go out that comfort zone because I never grew from my comfort zone. If I stayed in my
Yeah.
comfort zone, I'd still be sitting in the corner with a bag and a bottle, and didn't matter if it was a doctor's name or it said Jim Beam number 7. Doesn't matter. I would have been over in that corner having myself a little party, and it would turned into a self-pity party because
Yeah.
that's just ultimately what always happens because it's all woe is me. I need some money to go get whatever else that I needed. Today I don't gotta live like that. Today I get to wake up not madly searching for a bottle, not madly in detox, shaking,
Yeah.
or vomiting or whatever, detox symptoms you're having. I
Yeah.
don't wake up in a puddle of sweat unless I'm
Well,
sick,
I
which
know.
I have been sick. That's why my voice is a little bit raspy. I was hoping it'd get better by now, but I was
Oh,
pretty sick last
well,
week.
hopefully you feel better. Hopefully you feel better. How do you
I feel better. It's just the voice ain't all the way came back yet.
how do you handle life on life's terms today, especially when things get overwhelming?
I just turn it over ultimately. Like I mean, I can't if I'm worrying about something, then I'm projecting into the future and I'm not staying present. If I'm afraid, it's usually something from my past. I tore the rear view mirror off for a reason because I ain't going that way. I'm
Yeah.
going forward, which would be the future, but I gotta stay present in order to get there. Sometimes
Yeah,
quickly,
absolutely.
sometimes slowly.
Yeah.
But as long as I keep working at whatever my goal, dream, which I'm really big on setting like goals, like early on in the year, like set
Yeah.
some short-term goals and then set some long-term goals that keep you kind of
Absolutely.
focused on a
Yeah.
direction to go in, whether it be around your house or whether you want to, trade out a car this year or, any type of small things. You want to, work all 12 steps in a year. You want to do a step a month or, whatever. It could be, whatever goal it might be. For me, it's just this year, it's a lot of housework and doing things around the house because
Yeah.
we own everything we have. So I'm pretty much the maintenance man slash
Yeah.
electrician slash plumber slash, handyman of all trades and the master of none. But I did go to school for electric. I am pretty good with electric. Plumbing, I'm absolutely terrible with. And I think anybody that says they're a good plumber, I mean, they're probably kind of a little bit bullshit because plumbing always
I'm
has
not a
its
plumber.
issues. Yeah,
I know
plumbing
nothing
always
about
has
plumbing.
issues.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know enough, but I always
Yeah.
end up back at the store 3 or 4 times when it comes to plumbing because it's just always you need something else. You miss something. You know what I mean?
So what healthy coping skills or daily practices have the biggest difference in your recovery today? Do you practice?
A lot of it's probably like reading, because I never used to read, other than scrolling on Facebook. I actually read like recovery literature and stuff like that. Uh, I try to smoke less. I cut energy drinks out. I used to drink like 3, 4 a day. So, I mean, obviously, I still drink caffeine. I drink pop, but I don't drink I don't drink. Every once in a while, I have an energy drink, but I pretty much cut them out because, I mean,
Yeah.
they really weren't helping me with much. You know, it's like those small things that you start worrying about, or you're like, man, I want to get rid of that. The longer you stay sober, you start worrying more about your health. Like I go see a doctor once a year, especially because where I worked in electric and I mean food service, I worked in it for a long time. Those two jobs cause a lot of health problems, and you know most people don't even realize it. You know, and obviously I could do pretty much whatever I wanted in food service because I mean drinking and drugging is kind of normal in food service. But I was sober all that time, and I got to be an example to people, and most of them, you know, they went out to the bar, you know, and got drinks when we were closing at the end of the night. When they got done, and I let them go. They'd go out there and have the servers sell them drinks and teach their own. You know, I mean, I'm not there to tell them that they're off the clock. It don't affect me. It don't matter to me. I mean, you shouldn't probably do that because you still got to drive home, but that's on you. You know, you're going to have to live with that on your conscience. I'm not the god of anyone except my own actions. You know, that's the only thing. Ultimately, somebody's driving my own actions too. I'm just kind of,
Yeah.
you know, like a little puppet almost. Like
So,
I'm not anything.
yeah. Listen, I think people who come a long way just in general, and you being able to sit here and tell people your story, that's phenomenal, right? And you use the 12 steps as a coping skill. You use your, significant other, like you said, as a coping skill pretty much because you guys are really great with each other and you call each other out on each other's bullshit. Like, and you said reading, like, and there's so many things that, you said that there's coping skills, right? Like,
Yeah.
look what they're saying. They say it works if you work it, right? And it truly does. And the
Oh
minute you
yeah, for
stop working,
sure.
it doesn't work for you no more.
Yeah, and that's
No matter.
usually what I see with a lot of people is when they stop doing the things that were working for them like early on in their
Yeah,
recovery.
yeah.
Which, you know, you went through STAR, I went through STAR. They teach you a bunch of coping skills there. You know, they have
Yeah,
you
they
do little
do.
role plays. They have you
And
do
they teach
little
you
role
how to
plays
stand in
with
the
these.
line and count off to the
Yeah,
door.
well, that's military stuff. You know, I already knew
Yeah, but they do.
the
They do
bad
teach
drill.
you. Yeah, they do
Yeah,
teach
and
you
then
all that.
they have you read the STAR structure therapy advocacy
Yep.
restoration
Restoration. Yep.
whole deal. And like
You
it's
have to memorize
repetition, and
it.
I'm
Yes.
yeah to pretty much graduate and whatnot. Like
Yeah, you got to memorize it. You have to memorize it.
that was some of the stuff that was beneficial from STAR. Like they did
Yeah.
kind of give me some type of coping skills that I can practice, like prayer and meditation. I can use, you know, some of the counting my breaths, paying attention to my breaths. Like STAR kind of did help with like little things like that because I can actually do things like that. But most of the stuff is just stuff I picked up along the way. Like the base of it was the 12 steps and the directions that was outlined in the literature that I read. And then I build upon it in a spiritual manner as I see fit, whether it be going to
Yeah.
church or, you know, so many meetings or going to like a prayer meditation thing. You know, some people do the Buddhist stuff, teach your own. You know, I just kind of sit out in nature and get quiet and just listen to the world around me. You know, and that's meditation to me. Yeah, to me, it's hearing the birds chirp. And if I'm waking up and the birds are making me angry, I probably got work to do. Yeah, or if the dog's
Yeah.
barking, which I
Yeah.
mean,
You
sometimes our
memorize
one
that by
dog,
heart.
oh yeah, well, our dog's barks at like at everything. So I
Everything.
mean, and it's just,
Everything.
sometimes we do yell at him, but
Oh yeah.
I
I'm
mean,
like, shut up.
Well, yeah, sometimes we have to, and then
Yeah.
I kind of reflect on it. I'm like, was I really living my program by yelling at him or, being mean to him? And I'm like, and that's the beauty of this thing is we get to reflect on our day, right? We get to think
Yeah.
about, you know, what all did I do throughout the day and what could I do better tomorrow? Like, what can I focus on tomorrow to,
Yeah.
better treat people, whether it be an animal or whether it be, the people about us, people at work. I'm big on homes and occupations, and affairs myself. Like, I gotta be the same person at home I am out here at my workplace. And do I do that effectively 100% of the time? No, I fall short. You know, uh,
Yeah.
it's not about being saints. It's just better. It's just about being better than the person I was yesterday.
There you go.
Progress, not perfection. Because
There
if
you
I
go.
want perfection, then I'm playing God, and playing God
Yeah.
never worked out for me, right? So, um, I'm gonna read something here real quick out of the book that I read, and it's on page 275. I'm not gonna say what book it is, but I'm gonna modify it a little bit because the first one gives away what fellowship it is. But it says blank is not a plan for recovery that can be finished and done with. It is a way of life, and the challenge contained in its principles is great enough to keep any human being striving for as long as he lives. We do not, cannot outgrow this plan. As arrested blank, you can fill in the blank with whatever. We must have a program for living that allows for limitless expansion. Keeping one foot in front of the other is essential for maintaining our arrestment. Others may idle in a retrogressive groove without too much danger, but retrogression can spell death for us. However, this isn't as rough as it sounds, as we do become grateful for the necessity that makes us toe the line, and we find that we are compensated for a consistent effort by the countless dividends we receive. So, I read that. It's like one of my favorite stories in the literature that I read. It goes on a little bit farther until the last of the page. I'm not going to read it all, but that part right there, it tells us that this is the only way you graduate from recovery is when you die, right?
Yeah.
It's
True.
not. It's not you get this thing and you're recovered and
Oh yeah.
all will
Yeah,
be
it's not like
well.
that. Yeah.
It's always going to be progressing. It's always going to be, things are going to happen. You're going to find things that add to your recovery that you do
Yeah.
on a daily basis that you find help keep you sober. Like I think you said you've been making bread and stuff. Like
Yes. Yeah.
that's small things to add that you're like,
I
well,
love
I want to
making
try
bread.
this, and yeah, it's like one of those things like I want to try it, and the only way you get good at something is by trying it,
Doing.
even if you don't know how to do it. And if you
Yeah.
gotta ask some people, it's like working on a car. Not everybody knows how to work on a car. I have to ask my stepdad all the time about like, hey, can you come
Yeah.
over and help me do this or do that?
Right.
Because I mean, he's got knowledge, So I just ask people that have the knowledge. I can't say that I know something that I don't know. That's ego, and ego is unawareness, and I'm aware of my ego today. So ego and awareness cannot coincide in the same atmosphere. Like, yes, I still have a little bit of ego, have a little bit of pride, which could be an asset, could be a liability. Too much ego is definitely a liability because
Oh,
that's
absolutely.
me
Yeah.
me blowing myself up too big and
Yeah.
making God really, really small instead of me staying right sized and leaving God as, the ultimate authority.
Yeah.
So uh some people say it's edging God out, there's little acronyms and saying for it. But me, ego is the definition of its unawareness. And ego's a silent killer. You know, it takes a lot of people back out because they think they got this. And if I think I got this, I know I don't got this. You know, I've had the I've had the I got this before. I've had them, got them. They didn't take me anywhere good. You know, so today I just stay humble and try to walk with humility and know that I don't have this today. That's why I have sponsors. That's why I have people that I work with. I don't like to call them sponsees if I introduce them because they're a person. I introduce them by name because they're a person. They're a person in recovery. They're not my pet project. I mean, I might use the word sponsee every once in a while, but if I'm introducing them to somebody, I'm like, hey, this is so and so. I work, the program with them because we work hand in hand, side by side. We walk this together, And ultimately, that's the whole concept of the 12 steps is to help other people get some kind of grasp on a higher power. Because there's only one step that really addresses powerlessness, unmanageability, and actually says addiction or alcoholism or anything. The rest of them's all removing the stuff that keeps me blocked off from, the higher power, the God, the thing that's going to save my ass because I didn't save my own ass. It saved my ass. And if my ass is on fire, I just get myself into a meeting or I get working or I call somebody.
That's all you can do. So I have a couple of questions I want to ask you before we end. This is for your t-shirts that I'll be making. So, looking back, what would you say to the version of yourself that is still in active addiction?
Oh man, if that's a tough one because today I know what I know, and then I didn't know what I know now. Like, just don't give up on yourself. You know what I mean? Like love yourself because you're worth recovery. Every single person's worth recovery. There's nobody that's not worth this. There's nobody that's too far gone that can't come back. Because I was the one that was too far gone. Thought God turned his back on me when God was there walking with me, or my ancestors, or whoever it might have been. They were walking with me the whole entire time. They didn't give up on me because I should have died. I should have died a handful of times, and I didn't. I'm still here for whatever reason. Whatever that reason is, I don't really care. I'm just serving a purpose today.
He says t-shirts, you say? One more. If you could speak directly to a person who is still suffering right now, what would you want them to hear?
Man, just you gotta surrender. You gotta have a surrendered attitude eventually. Like eventually you just gotta realize that you can't get in the ring with addiction and win. Like if it's a boxing match, you got Mike Tyson over there and you're just some nobody. You're gonna get knocked out every single time. Like I got in the ring with addiction, tackled it, tried to tackle it every which direction I could possibly, and try all these different methods and all these, swear off forever, change the drink, the drug, change the location, change the people, the places, the things, And that's one of those cliches I really, really don't like a whole lot is the people, places, and things. Because, I mean, you go to a meeting and there's people, places, and things. Like, what do you mean? Like, it's just one of those things that's like, it's a good cliche. Don't get me wrong. You got to change everything. But the people, places, and things, you're putting a newcomer in a room with a bunch of people. It's in a place and there's a bunch of things around like coffee and cigarettes and candy and, books that they don't understand. Because, I mean, When I came in, I understood these books but they ain't self-help books. They are textbooks for a reason. They're meant to be studied with another person. They're not a self-help book, and there's no self-diagnosing and helping my own addiction and alcoholism. I need somebody else's help. Just plain simple, whether it be through therapy or whether it be through the 12-step
Through the 12
practice,
steps and the rings. Yeah.
or
You got it.
religion.
Yes. It does, and it does work if you work it. You know what I mean? And I appreciate you coming on and telling your story and sharing your wisdom with everybody. And I'm sure, like, everybody watching, somebody got something from it. I will make a shirt for you.
Yep, make whatever shirt you'd like. Use whatever saying that you heard. Because it's all secondhand. It's all secondhand information.
It is.
And nothing I say is really original, right? It's something I've heard.
I have an idea for your shirt. I'm not gonna lie. So, I'll come up with it and I'll send it to you and then I'll post it. But I appreciate you. I know everybody else appreciates you coming on and sharing your story with us and sharing your wisdom. And just thank you. Thank you.
I thank you guys for doing what you guys do.
You're welcome. I enjoy it and I love
great platform.
Well, we want to get more people. Need more people.
Yeah, it's a great platform, and I mean, as we work with people around here, I'm sure we'll send some your way.
Well,
and you can ask us anytime. I mean, granted, weekends are a little bit better for like me and my fiance. Obviously, we're off on weekends, so Saturday and Sundays is a little bit easier. We don't have to use vacation time and stuff like that. But but we usually keep a little vacation time around to do stuff like this, because I mean it's worth every minute. I enjoy doing stuff like this. What better thing can I do than talk about something I love on my birthday? And I love recovery because it gave me life. Without recovery, I won't be living. I got busy dying a lot, but I never really got busy living until now.
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. You did it. You did amazing. Everybody in the comments is saying, great job, Brady. Great job. All right, everybody. So,
Yep. I appreciate you guys.
We appreciate you.
I appreciate everybody that came.
Yeah, you had tons of support. But join us Wednesday. We have Billy coming on. Billy, I don't want to say his last name incorrect. Billingsley or Thomas Billings.
Thomas. I know Tom. Yeah, I know Tom.
I called you Billy, Thomas. I am so sorry.
Yeah, his last name's Billingsley.
Yeah. So join us Wednesday. He decided to be our fill-in guest because we had a cancellation. So he's going to come on Wednesday and he's going to give his testimony and his story. He's going to share it with us. Hopefully Matt will be back. He may not be, probably not. By the way it's looking, he's probably not going to be back. But if he is, he'll be here. If not, I might have a surprise co-host. A surprise co-host.
Sounds good.
Yeah. And everybody have a great evening. Join us Wednesday with Thomas, not Billy. His last name is Billingsley.
Yep, Billingsley. Billingsley.
Yeah, and join us Wednesday for his event, and we will see everybody then. And I will make your shirt.
All right, thank you. Have a good night.
Good evening. Thank you.